Well, in this session, we're going to deal with spaces and not the extraterrestrial space, but we are going to discuss about spaces in the variables values. So, I guess by now you're pretty much familiar with the existing paycheck dataset which we are using. So, just to make things even more clear this time, since we would be dealing with the space eliminating functions, I have created up a new variable called spaces underscore first name, and the reason it has a very fancy name is that it has two spaces added before the word David and two spaces added after the word David also. And the same is true for all of the other values in this variable here. Now, to prove you that there are spaces, I have created up a query which selects the first name, the new variable that I've created, and the length of the new variable that I've created over here. So I'm go ahead and run this query. So this is what you get. So this is the normal variable, and this is the new variable with spaces added towards its beginning and towards its end. And as you're gonna see, David only has 5 alphabets, but the length of this variable's values is 9 because two spaces are added before the word David and two after it. Now, to make things even more obvious now, our purpose is that we need to eliminate the spaces, the extra spaces that come before a variable's value and also after a variable's value. Now, this is the typical problem that most users face when they try to import values from different environments. So probably you might be importing some text from Excel or SQL Server or maybe even SAS. So in those kind of situations, you may be faced up with the problem that you have extra spaces before your values and even after your values. To tackle such kind of a thing, we use the LTRIM function or the RTRIM function, and their use is going to become even more obvious in these examples. So this is our first name, and I'm going to use the LTRIM function on the new variable which I created with the spaces, and I expect that all the spaces on the left of the value, that is on the beginning of the value, would be eliminated. And to prove it, I'm going to make you check the length of the newly created variable also. So let's say LTRIM spaces first name as uh, new spaces left, and also I would want the length of this also. So right now what I've done is I have mentioned a function inside another function. So the way this thing would be executed is that first the LTRIM function is going to work on the variable named spaces first name, and then it is going to use the value generated from this function with the length function. So it is going to give us the length of the new variable which got trimmed on the left side of it. So let's try running this. So when we run it, you see that quite an appearance, or quite an appearance too. The left two spaces of the variable have been eliminated, and also the decrease in length also shows us the same. And there are only two spaces left in all of these values, which are towards the right of the values, and we are going to remove them by using the RTRIM function. So instead of LTRIM, we're going to use RTRIM now, and we are going to change the variable name as right, and also we're going to use the RTRIM function spaces as length name, and then we're going to run this query. So this is what you get. So although the two spaces that were in front of the word David have now been eliminated, the you're going to see the effect by decreasing its length also. It is at 7 right now because two spaces have been eliminated. Now this is the way you eradicate the spaces that you have in your values on the beginning and towards the end of them. So in the next session we are going to learn about how to eliminate both the spaces leading and the trailing one at the same time using the left and the right trim functions or another function which we're going to discuss in the next session. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.